Hi everyone, I'm Stu.
I'm Sarah, and welcome back to the channel.
We apologise, we haven't yet revealed what we're doing for 2025. The reason for that is there's been a bit of back and forth, a lot of indecision about what we want to do. Do we even want to do a challenge? If we do a challenge, how many are we doing? We didn't make 300, so can we do any more than that? We'll reveal everything after this quick intro. Okay guys, welcome back. As mentioned, we weren't sure if we were even going to do a challenge this year. At times there was a lot of pressure, at times we kind of booked things in a bit of a panic and maybe went to places not at the best time of year. Having said that, Sarah, how many birds are we going to try and see this year?
This year we're going to try and see 350 different species.
350? This year we are going to remove the geographic restrictions. We're not going to have a random line down a map. We can go anywhere in Canada and anywhere in the USA, but to make up for that we have to see an extra 50 birds. So yes, welcome to the 350 bird challenge. Well, we already did one video on our big day on the 1st of January, and on that day we didn't have the "it must be on camera" rule, so that means we have to just jog that counter back a little bit. After removing the birds that we saw but didn't manage to film, our counter goes down to 31 species. Okay Sarah, so kicking off the 350 bird challenge, where are we today?
We're at Cranberry Marsh and Lynde Shores.
We're going to take a look around for some waterfowl, maybe some of the perching birds like black-capped chickadee that we saw on the first video but didn't get on camera. Stay tuned, let's take a look. Actually, as we drove along Halls Road on our way in, Sarah managed to spot these elegant sandhill cranes. And along the trail leading to the marsh, a blue jay gave us the cold shoulder. We did see black-capped chickadees in the first video, but since we didn't film them, we now get to add them back into the list now. And the same goes for this little downy woodpecker. This spot is usually a reliable place to see white-tailed deer, but as always, wildlife doesn't follow a script. This one decided to scratch its backside as we watched. Down at the lake, we get to count Canada goose. But wait, look what I spotted, this lone red-head duck appearing between the waves. We also had a closer look at this goose in the centre, wondering if it might be a cackling goose, but after some debate we decided its proportions weren't quite small enough and it's likely just a petite Canada goose. In amongst those Canada geese were a couple of common mergansers. From here you can continue east along the sandbar, ducking through the dogwood all the way to Lynde Creek. By the way, we're going to be updating a year-long list of all the species we've seen so far on our website, so don't forget to check it out. Hunting over the marsh behind us, this northern harrier passed by a couple of times. Okay guys, we picked up a few basic species there out on the lake. Where are we heading next, Sarah?
We're heading to Bennett Road.
See if we can pick up some snow buntings maybe. Stay tuned, we'll take a quick break here. Welcome back. We took a detour to Whitby Harbour after hearing reports of a ruddy duck, a snow goose and a Ross's goose, but unfortunately we couldn't see any of them. So we hopped back onto the highway towards Bennett Road. Here's a quick overview of our journey so far. We started at Cranberry Marsh, made that diversion to Whitby Harbour, and now we're heading toward a small road near some agricultural fields to the east. These fields are usually a hotspot for snow buntings. In fact, we saw them here last year. It seems like there will be no repeat performance today though.
Any of you guys seen a Ross's goose? They're small and white with a pink bill.
I don't think they have, Jason. In fact, all we saw were Canada geese and some American crows on the bright side, because that's a new bird. After a fruitless stakeout, it was time for a new plan. Okay guys, change of plan. The snow buntings aren't showing up for us. I guess they're not hungry enough to feed in the fields. Well, we can't see them anyway. Maybe some more snow on the ground will help in the future. So Sarah, where are we heading next?
To Rock Road near Sunderland.
We know we showed the Harris's sparrow in a fairly recent video, but we want to get that before it leaves. It may possibly move on as we head into spring, maybe. So we're going to head there now. It's about an hour away, so stay tuned. Back in a sec. You don't need to venture far north into Ontario's snowbelt before the roads transform. Soon enough, there are fields draped in snowy blankets and the roads themselves covered in a winter dusting. The Harris's sparrow was at the same seed pile as soon as we arrived. Awesome. We watched it for a while as it ate sunflower seeds and would occasionally drag both legs backwards to scrape at the ground as it foraged. The bird flushes easily and repeatedly, but we got some footage before turning our attention to this goldfinch, which we still need for the year. We waited for quite a long time for the Harris's sparrow to return. I wanted to get a good diagnostic photograph of it on this occasion. It seems to be one of the last sparrows that returns to the seed pile after flushing. After maybe 40 minutes in the cold, I managed to get a fairly good shot of it from about 50 feet away. Okay guys, we just picked up Harris's sparrow. If you want to see a bit more of that, watch the last video in the 300 bird challenge, because it was one of the birds we saw in that episode, so I'm not going to say too much more about it. I actually tried to pick up some photos of it this time. It refuses to face towards us, but I got some nice sideways on photos at the very least. We need to go and get lunch now. I'm going to go and get some chicken wings maybe with Jason. It's his favourite. We'll ply him with chicken wings to thank him for driving us. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a sec. After lunch, we tried a spot where Jason had seen a northern shrike last winter, but when this didn't pan out, we gave another location a try. Okay guys, welcome back. Sarah, where have we come next?
We are at Glen Major Forest.
It does seem pretty quiet for birds, but we did see something else, didn't we, Sarah?
Yep.
It's just behind us actually, in a tree. You can probably just make it out between me and Sarah and up a little bit. Just got really cool views of a porcupine. Got a bit of video of it chewing away on a branch and stealing it away to have for a bit of a snack. I do enjoy showing other wildlife alongside birds on this channel, and this was quite a gratifying moment for Sarah and I, as we had not seen a porcupine as close as this before. We began walking along the trail from the parking lot, but frankly, it was completely absent of any signs of life. Okay guys, we've had a quick look around Glen Major. Not a single bird. We walked down one of the trails. No crow, no chickadee, nothing. That does us for today, but this video continues because next weekend we have a pretty packed weekend, but we're going to sneak in a bit of birding, so we'll show you that next. Stay tuned. Bye for now. Okay, good morning and welcome back. We find ourselves at Lake Crescent Parquet. Reports of a tufted duck, a creature that is normally found in Europe and Asia, but it's found its way over here. Those Europeans, they get all the good North American stuff drifting over there sometimes. Probably the jet stream helps with that kind of thing. Doesn't happen to us quite as much in the Great Lakes area, a little bit on the East Coast. But here we are, tufted duck. Let's see if we can find it. There's a ton of waterfowl out on the water. We're going to try and pick through that. If you look carefully towards the middle of this view, you can see lots of ducks out on the water. Most plentiful were common goldeneye and long-tailed ducks, which we're getting on camera for the first time this year, so we count it. And the calls you can hear throughout this part of the video are also all the long-tailed ducks. I actually saw the tufted duck very quickly. New bird. It's not a lifer, we've seen it in England where it's very common, but it's pretty special to get it here, our first time in Ontario. You can see the tufts on the back of the head for which the duck is named. Side on, the colouring looks a little similar to the ring-necked duck, but the white flank is much brighter on this tufty. Pretty nice footage here when he got much closer to the shore for us. While we watched the tufted duck repeatedly dive, a couple of other sightings around us. Sarah saw this hawk fly into the tree. We're going Cooper's hawk on this, rather than sharp-shinned. It's too large for a Sharpie, I think, and the tail feathers are nicely rounded off instead of looking more squared. A little further down the street, near some bird feeders, brief views of a few house finch. Okay guys, we found that one fairly quickly, quite happy about that. We thought it might take, an hour or two to find it, picking it out through all the scaup, the goldeneye, the long tails, but we got it pretty quickly. I think we're going to move on now. There are reports a couple of days ago of a northern shrike at the Don Valley Brickworks, so I think that's our next and probably final stop for this video. Stay tuned, we're going to take a 20-minute-ish drive there now. A quick cruise through downtown and a hop onto the Don Valley Parkway, and we arrived at Don Valley Brickworks, also known as the Evergreen Brickworks. I expect to get much better views later this year, but we got to count this red-tailed hawk in the parking lot. Reports suggest that the northern shrike can be sighted towards the back of the buildings, close to a pond. So we circled this area, checking the trees for a bird that likes to perch high and survey its domain. With all of the buildings around, there were tons of house sparrows. Lots of robins and cardinals around the trails too. We kept looking for the northern shrike, and our friends Spring and Jason had joined us during our last stop and had come along to help find the shrike too. After carefully completing a steady loop of the area, we were debating whether we go around again or cut our losses. But just then, Sarah and Jason both saw the bird fly into a nearby tree and perch high.
That's him. Nice one.
I closed in on it to get closer views. Really cool to see this bird. We tried for months to get the shrike in Ontario, and now we've seen two since November. Okay guys, the shrike is showing really nicely for us in the top of a tree over here, getting some real nice photos and a bit of video too. Okay guys, a pretty successful couple of weeks of birding in this video, quite happy about that. Been pretty good, hasn't it, Sarah?
Yep, it's been a good start to January. We're pretty on track with where we were last year.
That's actually something we might look at in a future video. Maybe going forward each month we'll compare how we are to the year before, get an idea of how many birds we've seen this year versus last year. But for the time being, that's all we've got time for. Thanks for watching this video. Please do the nice things. If you like this video, you'll help other lucky people find it too. Also, we like getting your comments. What else should they do, Sarah?
You should also subscribe, and after subscribing, hit the bell for notifications when a new video is posted.
Bye for now, guys. Happy birding.
Bye.